I'm not sure why my view is not showing up.
You might have to click on the little 3 dots in the upper right or left corner to show
Yeah.
the view.
I did that and I clicked hide self view and then redid it and said show self view and it's still showing. It's still just my name. I'm still trying. Not showing. We can go. I'm ready. Y'all don't have to see me, do you?
Yeah. Hey, I've got to use one of these school microphones that puts the microphone right by your mouth. So I hope I don't come across as a creepy stalker. I'll mute anyway when I'm not talking. But okay, so this week we're not really talking about the rubric, from what I understand. We're actually supposed to be talking about task 2. Is that correct? Or task 1, I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay, so the process, I didn't fully understand what we're supposed to be talking about. The process that we went through to gather data, or what?
I think we're just reading the peer reviews like we've done before. That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we were supposed to be just talking about the APPTEL. Well, I've got one up right here.
That's fine. You can go ahead and start, Matt.
Okay. I thought I had one up here. There we go. Keisha. Actually, I don't know how you guys felt about this, but I felt this was pretty straightforward. It was just a matter of following the rubric for everybody. Not much else to add to that. For content, I felt like the content was aligned. I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Someone probably has their microphone and speaker on at the same time. Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. Content was aligned with the rubric, and the literature review supported the rubric. The candidates' research was thorough and focused on the key categories. As far as the rubric strength, as always, you follow the rubric. There were only 2 things that we had to follow in the rubric this week, and you did a great literature review with each of your bibliographies. No rubric weaknesses. The only thing I could look at was in your Appendix C. I don't know if you have it open. It says there's a checklist for teacher empowerment. Or is that a checklist for teacher empowerment? And if I bring it up here, where do I have you? I'm sorry. This is you. I'm sorry. Give me a moment. You had a checklist in Appendix C that wasn't completely filled out. And I wasn't understanding what the connection was between that checklist or where it fit into the whole narrative. But other than that, everything looks fantastic as usual. Could you expand a little bit on what that checklist was, if you're looking at it?
I honestly don't remember what you're talking about.
Okay.
If it's anything, I probably, from what Dr. Stedman or Dr. Lamb said, I typed the list in prompt 2, which showed the actual format of it in the appendix.
Oh, okay.
So I just typed it out. I didn't like put a screenshot of the actual checklist. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I just typed the questions that I look for, or the best practices in the prompt, and I just put the actual document in Appendix C. That's probably I think that's what it was. Okay, that makes sense. Now I'm looking at it's Rosenshine's article, Principles of Instruction Matrix. You filled out the first 2 lines, and then I guess you were supposed to read. So that's what I was talking about. Professional development that I did on instructional best practices, and I also used those 10 principles to guide my walkthroughs as well. So that's what happened. Okay. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Do I need to do one next? Sure. Okay. All right. I'll do Faith. Regarding the content, I said there is obvious evidence of knowing influencing the doing. The content is thorough, relevant, addresses the components of the rubric. Each component has a best practice and has 3 resources to back it. Regarding the rubric strengths, it is well organized. Thorough review of literature with 3 references detailing the research on each rubric component. The candidate provided 2 graphical checklists that measured the use of the instructional best practices. And the lists provided were research-based and as well as high-yielding. Continuing on with the rubric weaknesses, I didn't see any. There was some confusion about the instructions because our prompt said doing an annotated bibliography, but then we were told we didn't have to. So that was my only question. Regarding leadership, the candidate provided a checklist evaluating the presence of instructional best practices within her organization. The comprehensive checklist requires providing evidence to prove the use of each best practice. And that's it for Faith.
Thank you, Keisha. I also had a question about the annotated bibliography as well, because when I turned mine in, I was looking at other people's and I was like, oh Lord, I didn't do the annotated bibliography. So I emailed Dr. Stedman and asked him, was it a requirement? And he actually said no. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember on the video it said, I'm not sure which Zoom session they had, but I did write down notes. That's what I do, is I go back and take notes in timestamps. And it was either Dr. Lamb or Stedman said that you can do an annotated bibliography or do it in the narrative form.
Okay.
So some people did it both.
Okay.
I can go ahead and read, Faith. Sorry, I've still been trying to figure out what's going on, and I don't know why y'all can't see me, but Faith, for the content, I said your task content is aligned with the course content. Under rubric strength, the candidate's literature review is consistently aligned with the best practices identified in prompt 1. The candidate provided an extensive review of evaluation of the school staff. The checklist created by the candidate will aid in observing the relationship between research best practices and actual teacher preferences. And then the last one, the candidate has sufficient references for each research best practice. There were no weaknesses observed, and under leadership, your leadership is demonstrated through the narrative and questions presented in the checklist.
Thank you, Samantha.
You're welcome.
Well, I can go ahead now, and I have Angela up first.
Okay.
And for content, I have the content is aligned with the task. The candidate utilized research to support the defined best practices. And I also said the candidate conducted an extensive literature review with annotated bibliography because it was really in-depth. The candidate addressed the task by providing research for each of the defined best practices. And also the candidate provided a research-based checklist for teacher empowerment. And also you provided the district walkthrough form as well, which was really good. And I didn't observe any rubric weaknesses. And as far as leadership, the candidate conducted extensive research to create a checklist for teacher empowerment. And like your research was very in-depth.
Well, I'll go ahead and continue. Oh, Angela, where are you going to go?
She's eating tacos.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do Angela's. Mine was very similar. High evidence of knowing, influence, and the doing. High quality classroom walkthrough instruments, but that I'm probably going to ask you to steal from you later on. Research-based classroom walkthrough instruments. Thorough and well-organized narrative and annotated bibliography. Thorough lit review with sufficient evidence supporting best practices for your rubric strengths. I think your appendices might have not been completed or might have been missing I don't know for the APPTEL if we have to do an appendix to this time. I'm not sure. And as far as the leadership, the instruments presented could work well in any academic institution, and I put kudos. And this was a very extensive literature review. And that is it. But it was very, very, very well thoroughly researched.
I will go ahead and read Matt's peer review. Matt, under content, I put the annotated bibliographies are aligned with best practice in prompt 1. Under rubric strength, the candidate provided 3 annotated bibliographies for each of the 5 sections. Under rubric weaknesses, I put that the walkthrough observation checklist is not visible. I guess that was a screenshot that you provided, but I couldn't read any of it. And then I also put that the candidate did not include a teacher empowerment checklist because one was supposed to be like the survey, and I didn't see that in your paper. And under leadership, corrections to mechanics and grammar may demonstrate leadership, and I said creation of a teacher empowerment checklist and providing a visible walkthrough checklist may also demonstrate leadership.
Okay, thank you. No, I know, I realized after I posted that my walkthrough was not legible. It was very small print, so that's already corrected. And then, yeah, I didn't provide the checklist, so thank you for catching all that.
You're welcome.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to read Simone's first. The content, the candidate has addressed the facts and have applied research-based resources to validate the importance of teacher leaders and empowering staff. She has also provided tools to identify an effectiveness of school leaders, allowing teachers to have leadership roles. Rubric strength. The language of the rubric was articulated in a way that provided an in-depth understanding of teacher leadership and staff empowerment within a school setting. Also, as it relates to recruitment, placement, and mentoring, the candidate substantiated the position of the leader through supported research. This area of the narrative showed strength and validity. Rubric weakness, there was no major weakness. However, an introduction of each section could have provided a foundation for the readers of the information to follow. Leadership. How is leadership demonstrated? A demonstration of leadership was evident in the candidate's ability to provide detailed research in supporting the responsibilities of school leaders as it relates to advocacy and teacher leadership. The mechanics and grammar. The narrative was written professionally. There was no guesswork necessary in identifying the direction of the candidate. It was apparent that the candidate wanted to provide the reader with a clear understanding of the relationship between school leaders and their staff and how the relationship can assist meeting the expectations of the school system. Organization. Organization appeared to be done in a sufficient way as required by the rubric, and it seemed to have met all criteria. APA format. Oh, we don't have to do that. All right, we're good. All right, so
Thank you, Angela.
You are welcome. Keisha, the candidate task content was aligned with the course content, and she supported the importance of teacher empowerment and leadership best practices with research-based material. It clearly provided the reader with the facts and the way the particular information was selected. For the rubric strength, the strength of the narrative was found in the candidate's ability to select research and identify the effectiveness of teacher leadership and how the school leaders play a great role in the implementation. Rubric weakness, there was no apparent weakness found in the narrative. Leadership, the demonstration of leadership was identified in the creativity of a walkthrough tool that would meet the needs of the school as well as identify the needs of the strengths of the teachers. Mechanics and grammar, the structure of the narrative and the language was clear and transferred the expected message to the reader. There were no identifiable errors in the narrative. Organization, the structure of the narrative was in a logical way, which provided the reader with a usable resource All elements within the narratives was clear and concise. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt, too.
I just want to quickly say, in the video on this week, on Tuesday, Dr. Stedman said he wanted us to talk a little bit about task 2. He said he really didn't want us to stay on task 1, just do the peer review and really kind of talk about task 2 so that we can have, everybody can be on the same page and have clarity on what the expectations are. So my question to you all, if you had a chance to look at anything in task 2, are we understanding what it is requiring?
I have one more peer review to do before we go to that.
Sorry, sweetie, go ahead.
I'm going to do Matt's real quick before we talk about task 2. For the content, the candidate's content is aligned with the task. External sources are utilized appropriately to support areas addressed. Rubric strength, the candidate demonstrated knowledge of each area addressed within the task with the use of an annotated bibliography. The candidate provided the research-based checklist from Classroom Mosaic that is utilized by the school district. Rubric weakness, the candidate may want to add the research-based teacher empowerment checklist. The candidate may want to add a literature review with the annotated bibliography. And the candidate may want to enlarge figures and visuals. And for leadership, the candidate took the initiative of researching best practices for teacher empowerment and leadership.
Great. Thank you, Faith. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. So you guys, are you comfortable? Have you looked at it? Are you comfortable with the information? Are there any questions that we can talk about to make sure we do it right the first time and not have to go back? Because I'm really tired. With all, I mean, it's interesting. I don't want to say it like that. It's interesting. So
has everyone already started their research on this, or are they finished with it? Where are you guys sitting with this?
Well, I'm done, and it's checked.
Now.
Looking at Keisha's reaction to that. I saw that. You said what?
I'm complete with it, and I've submitted it, and it's graded and returned.
I took a quick look at yours.
To me, somebody said the person was cut and dry. To me, this was too. It required work, but I was thinking you guys, with me and Matt, I don't think we do as much as you guys do when it comes to a lot of like what you're doing in the classroom, like coaching, literacy, all those things. You guys got a lot of hands-on before you even started this. I think, if I'm correct, Matt, because I'm a teacher in the classroom. And
I'm also a teacher. I'm not any type of coach.
Okay, so there's 3 of us. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, Keisha and Faith, this right here, everything is like right there for you, because you guys doing it all of this right, you're doing it. So, you know, once I did it and he was like, great, I was like, oops, wow. I just knew he was gonna send that back, because that's something that I don't really do. I do walkthroughs now, being a BT mentor, but that's about, you know, I'm just doing it now because I'm an intern, but you guys have been doing it for a minute. So I just want to make sure, and that's one of the things he was saying on the video, that everybody knew what the expectations were. It's not a lot of stuff that they're asking you to submit. It really isn't. Actually using whatever tool that you have, using that tool to do the walkthrough, using that tool to survey, and then just providing the information. The needs assessment is basically just writing what they need to do after you do this survey and the walkthrough. That's all it is.
So it really is cut and dry then, because I was looking back at task 1, and I think I was getting nervous at how cut and dry task 1 was. I'm thinking, okay, I must be doing something incorrectly.
Exactly.
So I know I have to still do my checklist, but shoot, that's quick and easy to do finish my checklist and send that out. So we're sending the checklist out. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on task 1. We're sending the checklist out to the faculty and getting those results back and talking about the results from the teacher empowerment checklist. But the rest are just walkthroughs. I've already spoken with my curriculum instructor, and I can't even think. My principal, one of my principals. I'm sorry. and gotten data on that.
And I didn't even I didn't send a survey out. I basically just talked to the staff, and I noted that in my narrative. I didn't talk to everyone. I knew who to talk to find out what I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I got the information, and
Sure.
I mean, you
so
work
test.
really know.
What's that?
I said you work there, you know.
Yeah. So task 2 is still pretty cut. I mean, I was looking at what you submitted. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cut and dry too. So,
okay.
Does everybody agree with that, Keisha?
I'm late. Yeah, I was looking at it, and we do our walkthrough on a Google Doc, so it puts our results about what practice is being conducted in pie charts for us. So this is basically me having to identify the gaps in best practices. So I think I'm good.
You're good. Mm-hmm. And just submit those graphs.
Right. Okay.
So it's not hard at all.
No. Okay, this is good.
I definitely wanted you guys to be comfortable with it, because I feel like at this point, it's a lot, and I definitely wanted you to know that this part right here is not hard. Now this next part, I really haven't looked at it. He told me to go on to that. I'm gonna look at it, and if I get time, because I finished that. I'm gonna tell you how cut and dry it was. I started last night when I got home from work, and I finished last night.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, it took me to 1 o'clock, but I did, and I submitted it. So I know you guys you're great at doing this anyway. So, but I know we at a part that I'm kind of burned out. I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. I'm feeling the burn. So I want you guys to get motivated, and we ready to get a Thanksgiving break.
You got this, Angela. 2 more weeks, you can sleep. Thanksgiving break. It's all downhill from there.
I got to preach tomorrow morning. I have to leave the house really early. I have to preach in another town. I have to minister. So I wanted to get it all done so I wouldn't have to have that on my mind, standing in front of all those people like, I got to get home and do my assignment. I don't want to think about it. So I wanted to really.
Isha, Faith, Samanja, you guys feel pretty good about task 2 where you are on that?
I'm good.
I do.
Okay.
But it's not due until the following Sunday, right?
Yeah, that's the way I understand it. Okay. So we actually have more time than necessary.
Oh, it's not due this Sunday?
Wait, I'm with you.
Task
2? Rough draft.
Did he say that it was more work? He said, I looked at the video about 5 times. He says one of the tasks, he said it is so extensive that they extended how long we have. Was it this task?
Yeah, we're supposed to have 2 weeks for this task.
Cool.
But the Zoom video, they said that it was due this week, or at least the rough draft is due this week. Yeah. But I didn't even think the rough draft was due until next Sunday. I plan on getting mine in this week, or as soon as possible.
And he also said that if you cannot finish it, like, don't send it to him. So let me know that he'll give you time to finish it correctly. So he said, do not send it missing anything. So
which is what I did. I sent it.
I had to get in touch with Keisha because I was like, if you read the information, the instructions, to me is not as clear as as they're saying it is, because it does not say that you need 2 of the checklists.
No,
it doesn't
say one. Is it a checklist?
That's exactly right. And Keisha told me I had to go back and look at. I think I went to Faith. I looked at hers and I thought, I'm gonna look at Faith and see how she did hers, and then and that was my motivation to know exactly what was needed in task 1. I said, oh, okay, I need to put another checklist, and how it looked. I looked at hers and that showed me, okay. So we're basically taking the information or research information that we got, and we changed it into a list that we can use. That's it. I mean, I looked at the video. I'm telling you, about 5 times. Because how confused I was. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it was the same here, but I did the best that I could. I figured we had rough draft week, so you guys could see what was missing and hammer my paper, and then I'll make it correct by Sunday. So, gaps analysis. Keisha, have you done gaps analysis? You've done that before, right? You have to.
I've done it more so with ethnic subgroups with summative testing.
Okay, so that was your dissertation, is that right?
So, part of it, yeah.
Okay.
With my own data, yeah. I analyzed the academic gaps.
Okay, so you haven't done it school-wide like we're supposed to be doing.
I don't think so. No.
So this is the third task?
Yes, task 3. Okay. Just looking forward. It seems like
Okay,
everybody's
guys,
comfortable too. Go ahead.
unless I'm missing something, I just pulled up the weekly schedule, and it says due on the 11th, which is this Sunday, APPTEL Task 1 Zoom conference link, Task 1 revisions due to instructor, APPTEL Task 1 peer reviews due, then it says APPTEL Task 2 draft due to be submitted to discussion board.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is kind of difficult if we haven't got all of our data in.
So we do have to do task 2.
In the Zoom session, he said that we do not have to do the walkthroughs. We could just kind of meet with our administrators, and I actually did that. I met with my administrators. And then the other part was to the survey. So I guess, I mean, in order to submit that, yeah, you probably should have already done the survey to get feedback from your staff. At least that's my understanding. I don't know. Maybe I'm confused on something.
That was my understanding too.
That's right. You are.
Yep. You're looking at week 11 right here. Yep.
You are.
What is this survey that we're talking about?
The teacher
checklist. Yeah, the teacher empowerment.
Oh.
Which you've already done probably 100 times. Meaning that you talk to your teacher.
Those were, I think it was like the 5 questions.
Yeah.
I can't remember them right off the top of my head, but those 5 questions, and just kind of like it was a yes or no checklist. Or do they have opportunities to collaborate in the school? Do they have opportunities to take on leadership roles? Those types of things.
Yeah. So we can just put those 5 questions in a Google form or survey and send it out to the staff.
Yeah, that's what.
And then what we get back is what we work with.
Where are they located? Because I feel like I'm lost now.
Should be at the bottom of your paper. What you actually created, the checklist you created, from what I understand, is what you're going to use. So if you just put those into a form or a survey, send it out to your staff, and then whatever your results come back, that'll help you do your gap analysis. Does everybody feel like that's what we're doing?
Yeah.
So the 5 areas, the 5 topics, they are what you're going to, you created your list. You're going to use that list to relate it to the 5 topics. The 5 topics you're not putting in the list. You're not creating a list with those 5 topics. You're creating your own research-based list of, and he gave the examples of how you could find those. But you're basing your information on those 5 research areas, and you're basing it also on your literature review and information that you researched in task 1.
Gotcha.
That's
I think Sunday's going to be too soon then for task 2.
Yeah. So Keisha, I'm looking at yours right now. Your checklist for empowerment as a school leader. My understanding is those 4 questions you have teachers are provided with opportunities for collaboration. That one, that will be your survey that you put out to all of your teachers. Does everybody agree with that? Because that's how I understand it.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay. Just whatever checklist you made as a empowerment as a school leader.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I used to.
Make it easy, guys. Don't put a lot like I did. Don't put it like a whole lot, because you're gonna have a whole lot to have to do. But that's the one I found. And that's the one that was research based, and he accepted. So, but I think if your list is very long, it means you have to touch all of those areas in your narrative. So try not to have it as long.
Okay. Thank you.
So we good, you guys, on task 2. Of course, we're not gonna have it done by. Mine is done, but as a group, we won't be ready until you guys let me know, and then I'll set up whatever I need to set up for us to meet. And I want it to be convenient for everyone. So.
Yeah. Well, we should all have it ready by next Friday. I mean, we have the whole week to. I mean, this is just me speaking now. I don't know what everybody's schedule is, but I'm assuming that we should have, if we have our forms written up, sent out to the faculty by Monday, a couple reminders, we can analyze our data by Friday
Right.
and talk about it if we need to.
So are you guys, well, I'm going to submit mine by Sunday, but are you guys going to submit yours by this Sunday, like in 2 days, or you're planning on submitting it the following Sunday?
Well, the rough draft does say it's due this Sunday. So, I mean, one thing that I've learned to embrace as of our third week of this class is start using these rough draft periods. Put a rough draft in, get peer review, and then correct it. So it doesn't have to be perfect if you turn it in on Sunday.
Right.
Would you guys agree? I mean, that's the way I see it. I was trying to do everything perfectly before when I turned my rough draft in, it was killing me.
Right. But just remember, in the videos, both of them said, Lamb and Stedman said that they're not going to be as lenient with even going forward because they were both saying that we ought to know by now.
Right. That's what I was about to say too, Angela. They did stress that, as in don't submit work that you know is not completed.
Right.
And expect them to be lenient and, go back and look at it a couple of times. But just to make sure we're on the same page, I'm going to submit mine this Sunday, but I would be ready for the peer review next Friday, if that works for everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Matt, go ahead and take it. I'm going to be honest. Go finish it. Finish it the best you can. Complete. I mean, it'll be the rough draft, but make sure all of your components are in there because I don't,
Yeah, they'll be in there, but the data won't be in there, obviously, because if I send a survey out even right this moment, I'm not going to get my data back in time. So, and I think they understand that part. The data may not be completely in. So I'm going to do everything to the best of my ability by Sunday.
That's all you got to do.
And then fix everything throughout the rest of the next week.
Exactly. Because I think that last piece with our competencies, that's, guys, that's no guesswork. So we can get this third one. Awesome.
Yep.
If you do it by Google Docs and kind of send it out in an email, I guess you have to get the approval from your admin. I can kind of do what I want. So I can send mine out tonight, actually, if I make a Google Doc really quickly. I don't know if everyone can do that if they haven't done their survey yet.
Yeah. I just have to get an admin approval, but that's easy. She's just a text message away.
Okay.
But at the same time, faculty, how many of the faculty are actually going to look at my survey this weekend? It'll be buried by all the other emails by the time they get there Monday. So I'll send it out first thing Monday morning, so it's on top.
You can get a handful. You still have an idea of what it is.
I couldn't hear you there, Angela.
I said, if you can get a handful of people, I mean, you're not going to be able to, nobody. I don't think the entire staff is going to participate anyway, because that's the problem we are having all together. But even Survey Monkey, if you did that and did 3 questions, 4 questions, it doesn't matter. It's easy to do, quick to do, and you're going to get your data and you're going to get your graphs and everything. So even if you get about 20 people to respond, you're good to go.
Okay. Does Survey Monkey do graphs?
Yes.
On the free account?
Yes, it's a lot of information. It is a lot of information.
With the free account?
Yes.
If it's not free, it's not for me.
Yeah, I did it. I actually did it with a PLC.
Oh, can you do a screenshot and send it that way? Send it this way?
I sure will.
Of just your data? That'd be awesome.
I'll send it. Well, I didn't do this with that. It was just a PLC that I did. I'll send
that's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. I might check into Survey Monkey then. There's my data and graphs. Figure 1, figure 2, done.
Good deal. But all right, guys, I think we're good. I'm going to send you this recording tonight, but I'm headed to church now. You guys be cool.
All right.
All right.
Anybody else have anything for the good of the group?
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Good night, guys.
Night.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.